Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to the first of my festive top 10 lists, my end of year lists where I give you my top 10 favourite films of the year, my top 10 favourite games of the year, and my top 10 least favourite films of the year, or the worst films of the year. So the first one that I'm going to do is, obviously, if you're watching this, you know from the title, it's my top 10 favourite films of 2022. There's a small chance by the end of the year I may watch another film that may potentially have got on this list, but I've got nothing scheduled and in my watch list that I am suspecting will be on the list. I think the only one you could maybe make an argument for is maybe the new Avatar, but I'm not planning really to go and see that one straight out of the bat at the cinemas. So I hope you enjoy checking out this list, guys. Let me know in the comments what your favourite top 10 films of the year are. Now, there are some honourable mentions that I wanted to talk about, and the first one is a film called Hustle. It was a Netflix film and starred Adam Sandler, and usually people start cringing when they hear that. But I promise you guys, if you give this one a try, you'll really enjoy it. It's like a sports comedy drama with a superb central performance by Adam Sandler, and I really, really enjoyed it. The next one I want to mention is The Black Phone. For many, this was a bit of a disappointment because it was quite hyped up as to be one of the top horror films of the year. I really quite enjoyed it. There were aspects of it I thought could have been better, but I thought the central performance was absolutely terrifying. The masks on display and things like that, and the story was pretty compelling, and I really, really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really well made. And another honourable mention that I want to talk about is Elvis. Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't intending on seeing this one initially, but I started hearing good things about it. So I thought I'd check it out. I like a good, true life, biography types film. And these seem to be the top fashion these days based on top music stars. And this one I thought was really, really excellent. So coming in at number 10 on my list is Smile. This one is divided some audiences, but I thought it was really, really effective. Not the most original horror film you've seen. It's a little bit like It Follows, but it kind of puts its own little spin on that. And I thought it was really effective. I thought there were some really good scares in it. It was really creepy at times, and I thought it had a really, really strong central performance. And I thought there were some quite inventive jump scares. Jump scares sometimes are done too much, but I thought they were done just right in this film, and I felt like the jump scares were earned. So it's definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a quality horror. Coming in at number 9 on the list is Bullet Train. Now, I initially didn't see this one at the cinema because it didn't interest me really. It didn't look that great. And then it came out and I managed to eventually see it, and I've actually got it on Blu-ray now. And this one really, really surprised me, really impressed me. It was inventive, it was action-packed, it was full of really interesting and fun characters. And I thought Brad Pitt was great as the central character here. And I just thought the film had an awful lot of charm. And I just really enjoyed it. It was a really cool, inventive action film that definitely you should check out if you haven't seen Bullet Train. Coming up on the list at number 8 is a film called Bull. What do you mean you've never heard of it? Fair enough. Nobody's really watched or heard of this one. I've got this on Blu-ray now. I watched this earlier in the year and I thought it was superb. Really good British horror thriller about this guy who seemingly has come back from the dead to take revenge on those that wronged him, and he's searching for his son. It's really good. If you like Dead Man's Shoes, you're going to love this. It's of a similar sort of thing, but it's got a bit of a supernatural twist to it. Very, very violent, very well made, and very hard-hitting. Definitely worth checking out. Coming up at number 7 on the list is Prey. And I think many people were expecting this film to be terrible. There was a lot of negative vibes from some people leading up to this film, those that were probably not happy about the fact that it was a female lead in the role. I thought this was fantastic. I thought this film put the Predator franchise back on track. It was really good story, really good setting, really good characters, and I thought the Predator, like an early version of a Predator, was really awesome. Almost primal in its approach. I thought the action was great. I thought it was suitably gory, and I was absolutely hooked and thoroughly enjoyed this one. Great film. Coming at number 6 on my list is Top Gun Maverick. Again, a film I didn't go to the cinema to see straight away because I wasn't really that interested. And the reason why I wasn't interested was because I'm not a massive fan of the first film. I think it's cheesy fun and a guilty pleasure, but, you know, it's not like in my top 10 or even my top 50 favourite films of all time, Top Gun. But I have to say, after watching Top Gun Maverick, it blew me away. It was fantastic. The action sequences with the planes were on another level, and Tom Cruise proved once again that he's got his finger on the pulse when it comes to knowing what an audience wants, and I have to tip my cap to him. He absolutely nailed it with this film. Coming up at number 5 on the list is Barbarian. For me, one of the most original horror films I've seen for many years. I know there are some people out there that are a little bit divided with this one as well. I just thought it was fantastic. I was completely hooked with this one. I thought it was great. I thought it was scary. I thought it was also uncomfortably funny, with some challenging characters, and I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen the film. All I'll say is if you like good, well-made, well-written, well-acted, and well-directed horror films, and something that is, you know, really original, I don't think you're going to be disappointed with this one. I'm really looking forward to watching it again. Coming up at number 4 on the list, probably the most recent one that I have watched and reviewed on the channel, Violent Night. It's one of those films that after you watch the trailer and you understand the concept of this film, it absolutely delivers. Everything you expect this film to do, it does, and it does it in spades. It's got a great concept. It's original. The action's great. The performances are great, and it's bloody funny as well. Absolutely ticks all the boxes, does everything it says on the tin and more. And it's one of those films that you'll go into the cinema and then you'll walk out after watching it with a big smile on your face. It delivers. Is it a masterpiece? No, but it's bloody entertaining stuff. Really good. Coming up at number 3 on the list is Deadstream, another film that has divided many people, but for me, as a found footage fan, I thought this was the most fun I'd had watching a found footage film for years. It's a horror comedy, and to do a found footage film and blend comedy into the mix was, how do you do that? But they absolutely nailed it here with one of the most memorable and funny characters I've seen on film for a long time. I was literally laughing out loud constantly watching this one. I thought it was fun, creative, inventive. I thought the effects were great. And I thought it was really clever, which is why it's so high on my list, because I love found footage so much. Coming up at number 2 on the list, The Batman. Probably going to make many people's top 10 list, and rightfully so. This was superb, and I was kind of going into this film thinking, why do we need another Batman film so soon? You know, what's wrong with Ben Affleck's Batman? And there's nothing wrong with it, which is why he's still portraying that Batman in like Aquaman and things like that. So for me, I did question why we needed it. But after watching the film, I completely understood it. It was great, gritty, grounded, frightening. It was like a crime drama, really, not like a superhero film. And I thought it was quite groundbreaking in many ways. And I thought Robert Pattinson was excellent as Batman. Coming up at number 1 on my list, it has to be The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, the Nick Cage masterpiece. That, to me, you don't have to like Nick Cage to enjoy this film. I watched this with my wife when I got it on Blu-ray, and she hadn't seen it, and she's not what you would describe as a Nick Cage fan, and she thought it was hilarious too. It's just incredible. It should not have worked. If you didn't know what this film was and someone tried to explain it to you, you'd be like, really? That's going to be terrible. And it should be terrible, but it's absolutely a stroke of genius. Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal, some of the best on-screen chemistry I've seen for such a long time. It's funny. It's original, it's creative. You've got Nick Cage going mental and manic when he should be in this film. And and to top it all off, it's an action comedy, so you get the comedy and you get the action too. It's absolutely wonderful, and that's why it is my my favourite film of the year. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed checking out my list, guys. Don't forget to put in the comments, let me know what your favourite films of the year are. I'm sure many of yours will differ from mine. But overall, I've enjoyed this year. I thought there have been some really cool films. Some disappointments as well. I think Marvel have missed the mark for the most part this year. I think DC have pretty much nailed it with what they've given us this year. So let's see what 2023 brings. So thanks for watching, everybody.